Hi everybody, Julie Miller here from Premier Fitness. I've got another little workout here for you today. Today it's all about planks. We're going to talk about all the different kind of planks that you can do, starting with the easiest and then progressing up to the hardest. Now bear with me, I'm going to be doing a lot of planks, so I'm going to coach you through how to do it correctly, even though if I might be quivering at the end. Well, this will be a little test for me. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so to get ready, you can do these without shoes or with shoes. It just depends on what workout I'm doing, if I use shoes or not. Really doesn't matter. You may want to start with shoes, probably start with shoes if you've never done a plank before, just to protect your feet. So to get started, you're gonna need a mat or a soft surface because we're gonna be on our knees, we're gonna be on our elbows, we're gonna be on our hands. A little bit of wrist work will be, actually a lot of wrist work will be going on. So we can just kind of get those moving. Just a little bit of movement. Now, we're gonna be holding these planks for, I don't have a timer with me, so different amounts of time. But this is just to get the basics, just to get how to do it correctly, what muscle should I be engaging, what should I be feeling it, where should I be feeling it. All right, so let's get started with the first one, and this is going to be an elbow plank on your knees, or a simple or basic plank. So we're gonna position ourselves on the mat, elbows on the floor, directly under those shoulders. To start, be starting on our knees. So I want you to get your hips as close to the floor as you can, and the idea is to have a straight line from the top of your head all the way down to your knees. So from here, some people put their hands flat, some people put their hands face up. I like to put no pressure on my hands at all. I like to push the floor away with my elbows so my shoulders are nice and rounded on my back. I like to keep my butt nice and tight and push the floor away with my elbows and my knees. Working the whole body here. As far as your head placement goes, your head is up, looking right about there in front of you. So what is that? I don't know, a foot and a half. So we hold this until exhaustion, until you cannot hold it anymore, and then you release it down with control. We don't just plop everything down, we release control. That's part of the exercise. All right, so we got that down. The next move from there, we'll stay with the elbow plank. It's gonna be elbow plank on your feet or on your toes. So get your elbows organized underneath your shoulders, pushing the floor away. I'm still on my knees. I'm gonna tuck my toes, I'm gonna lift my knees. Now from here, my elbows are still underneath my shoulders. I'm pushing the floor away with my elbows. My core is tight, my butt is tight, and I'm pushing through my heels. Pushing through my heels, and we're just gonna hold it here. Now when we're ready to let go, with control, then you bring it down. Got it? With control. All right, next plank is going to be a full-on plank where our elbows will be, actually our arms will be straight. So this is where the wrist work comes in. So I'm gonna have my wrists a little bit ahead of my shoulders in this tabletop position. And when I come forward into my plank, my wrists should be now directly underneath my shoulders. So I'm gonna drop my hips down, push the floor away, straight line from your head down to your knees, pushing that floor away. My core is still tight. My knees, my hips, my shoulders, and the top of my head are all in one straight line. All right, so we're gonna hold it here until exhaustion, and when you're ready, you relax in control. And the good move to do after this is called child's pose. So child's pose is just placing your butt on your feet, or as close as your feet as you can get them. If you need to adjust your knees wider, you can do that. Drop your head down and just relax in child's pose. Kind of gives your shoulders a little bit of a stretch. Stretches out your arms. A nice little resting pose. Okay, so after full plank on your knees is going to be full plank on your toes. So from here you can adjust your shoulders directly over your wrists because we won't be shifting forward. I'm gonna put back my first foot, put back my second foot. Hands are directly under those shoulders. I'm looking a little bit ahead. Straight line from my head down to my toes. My core is tightened up, my butt is tight, and once again, I'm pushing through those heels. Push those heels, tighten up your thighs, tighten up the front of your thighs. Hold it here until you can't do it anymore. When you can't do it anymore, you drop your knees with control, and you can always take that child's pose. On to the next is side plank. So in side plank, we're gonna be working the one side. So this is what side plank looks like. So I've got my knee, my back foot is supporting me, and my other foot is supporting me, as well as my arm is supporting me. So to get into side plank, on my right side, so my right knee is bent, my left leg is straight out, and I'm going to lift my hips into side plank. So when we're in side plank, I want you to think rainbows. So the body is kind of in a curved position. I want you to think about keeping those hips nice and high. Also, I don't want you to tip forward or tip backward. If you imagine yourself between two panes of glass, I want you to keep everything nice and straight between those two panes, all the while keeping those hips nice and high. Wrists are under shoulders, core is tight, butt is tight, supporting myself from those 3 points of contact with the floor, pushing it away. Another option would be to lift your arm. To get out of this after you're done, nice and slow, with control, don't plop it on down, give those wrists a roll. So on side plank, you would do the other side as well. For the sake of time, I'm just gonna do one side. I'm gonna progress to the second type of side plank on your feet. So, wrists under shoulders, feet are staggered, one in front of the other. So I've got my right foot in front of my left foot, my right side, and that's just more comfortable for me. And I'm gonna face, everything is straight. I'm pretending I'm in between those two panes of glass. I'm going to lift those hips. It takes a minute to get situated. So thinking rainbows, my body is in a slight curve. Think about keeping those hips lifted. I'm trying to keep everything nice and straight between those two panes, pushing through the floor with those feet, pushing through the floor with that hand. My feet are on the side, the knife's edge of those feet. To progress, we would lift our arm, and to get out of it, we would just drop it down. Nice job. Like I said earlier, get set up, do the other side as well, just so everything's nice and even. The last variation of this side plank is going to be on one foot. So, straighten out your legs, get everything organized. My hand is under my shoulder, my feet are stacked, and I'm going to lift into side plank. So the knife's edge of my feet, pushing through the floor with my feet and my feet and my hand, thinking rainbows, everything's curved. I've got everything nice and straight between those two panes of glass. Perfect. If you want to go further, lift up that arm. If you want to go further, lift up that leg. And when you're done, bring it down and relax. Good job. Like I said, you gotta do the other side as well. Okay, the last one is called reverse plank. This is gonna be a little more challenging, but I wanted to show it to you. Because like I said, this is all about planks. Now there are many, many, many more planks that are out there, but these are the basic ones that I like to do. So for reverse plank, when I got started doing these planks, I would sit with my legs straight, with my fingers pointing towards my hips. So I've got my hands directly under my shoulders, so they're pretty close together, and I would just hang out here. what I would try to do is lift my chest and push the floor away. I would keep my head nice and relaxed. Not full out relaxed, but I would keep it relaxed. No tension in the neck. So this is where I would get the feeling of, I would try to put all the weight into my hands so I can get the feeling of how it's going to feel when I finally lift my hips. When you get there, when you're feeling like you can do it, we're going to ground down, push the floor away with my heels and my hands, and we're going to lift the hips. So keeping those hips lifted, pushing through the floor, keeping the butt tight, keeping the core tight, my thighs are engaged, and when you're ready, we're going to drop it down with control, lean it forward, and give those wrists a roll. That's pretty much it. There's lots more different planks I didn't cover, but this is a pretty good start. I like to do planks in my workouts that I do. I like to do planks at home. I like to do planks when I am watching TV or whenever I can get a minute to get on the floor to do a plank. I like to do them. They're very, very good for your core area. As far as how long to do them, you do them until you can't do them anymore. So you get in your first plank, set a timer with your phone, see how long you can do it. That's your basis. The next time you do the plank, try to at least hit that same time or go a little further. If you practice planks every day, which you can work your core every day, you should be pretty much, after about 2 or 3 weeks, you should be in pretty good shape. Thanks for joining me. I will see you very soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.